Welcome. Happy Monday or Tuesday if you're in the future like Klaus. And we are here painting more Chaos Warriors. Hooray! Actually, yes, hooray. Dread Warriors if you're nasty and you like the 2021 version better, but they are Dread Warriors. So last time we painted this fellow in the colors of Corn, the god of blood and skulls and war and all things nasty. So there you go. And tonight we're gonna paint another one of the same sculpt. This time we're gonna let the dice decide. We're gonna let the dice decide which chaos god we are going to paint them in the style of. So I've got my handy dandy D4 here. So, last time we rolled 1 for Corn, so we're just going to call 1 the reroll. So, 2 will be Nurgle, 3 will be Tzeentch, and 4 will be Slaanesh. And 1 is a reroll. So, here we go. What do we got? 2! Wow, we're going in order. 2. So that means we're doing Nurgle. Okay. Easy enough. Time to get the grossest greens out that we can get. I don't mind this at all, actually, so. Alrighty, so we won't need the brass. Because Tzeentch is not, or Nurgle's not known for his brass affinity, so it will be silver. And we'll probably rust him up a little bit. Yep, barf green. Well, not quite barf green, but barfish green. It's sort of a sickly blue-green kind of vibe. Actually, this might be a touch darker, yeah. So we'll do that. Yep. Alright, so Nurgle is the god of rot and sickness and entropy. So we're going to base coat our shadows with this color here, the woodland camo. I haven't decided what color I'm going to do the cloak in yet. We might do it in a dark brown. Just curious, something. Okay, that is darker. All right, I was just curious because my next color up in this is gonna be Orc Hide, and the olive, the woodland camo is darker than the Orc Hide paint, which I thought it was, but you know I wanted to be sure. All right. So let's get this party started. This may not be dark enough to be our shadow color. We may need to add a little bit of something to it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Let's try to add a little brown to it. A little dark brown. That might darken it up to the point where we want it. It's either that or I'll have to add a dark blue. Let's see what that looks like. Dark brown really doesn't do much, just turns into baby poop. Let's add a very dark blue. Let's try some abyss blue. I'm experimenting. That's a little too teal. Yeah, we're gonna figure out what our shadow color is gonna be. Let's see about black. Let's just add some black to it. This is probably desaturated a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Yeah, it just makes it look gray. I think out of all of these, the dark brown is probably the best looking one. It looks the most like Nurgle. Looks a little like baby poop. What if I add a little bit of a bluish gray to it? I'm sorry to hear that, Klaus. Being a responsible adult sucks most of the time. Add a cold corpse blue. Try that one. Okay, this is more the vibe I'm looking for. Still think it might be a little too bright. Think it might be a little too bright. Alright. Well, let's go with a wyvern green. Let's just try a regular paint. This is just a very dark green. I think this will probably do the best out of all of them. Well, this is mixing on the model now because it's still wet, but... Yeah, it's definitely, this is definitely better for the shadow tones. I don't know why I just didn't go with this color to begin with. Probably just because I wanted to try something new. It can be fun. Sometimes we have a, sometimes we just don't get a exactly what we're looking for, and we think, and I overthink it too much. So. helmet. I need to make sure that I don't get any paint inside the slit in his helmet. Hey, Zonated. Welcome on in, bud. Hope you're having a good night. All right, Klaus, go be responsible. Have a good night, bud. How's that pretzel polishing going for you, Zonated? Are they nice and shiny? Thank you, Klaus. Whew. I'm a tired boy tonight. Alrighty, I think we got our first shadow color of green down. Looking pretty nice. Alrighty. So next, I'm going to actually switch to my smaller brush for this. I'm going to use a little bit of brush soap on my brushes because I've had this problem recently with the 2 and the 1 splitting apart quite a lot, and that is it's pretty annoying when you're trying to paint miniatures and your brush is going big. Because when you gotta have detail, you want a nice point on your brush. Alright, so our first color, I think, is going to be this woodland camo. And we're gonna do a mix of our emerald green and the woodland camo for our transitional layer. And it's just a 1-to-1 mixture. A little too watery. Probably because that emerald green has gotten into the, has really gotten watered down. Alright, that looks good. Consistency wise. Alright. So we're going to put this over a lot of the mini, but any of those shadows we're going to keep dark, of course. If you've been to the stream for a while, you know how this works by now. trying my hardest not to get any of this paint in the eye slit of his helmet, just because I want it to be completely dark. While I'm doing this, I'm thinking about all the ways I'm going to make this guy nurgly. I don't have like any slime to give him, so there's going to be a lot of rust and grime, I think, on him. Alright, that's our first transitional color. Now moving on to straight up woodland camo. A bit more water in that one. Just need a little bit better flow. Yeah, there we go. Kitty. I think it's very funny that for the past 2 streams, the dice have rolled 1 and then 2. But in a way, I'm kind of glad because I pretty much know Nurgle's color scheme. I know Zinch's pretty well because it's basically the Thousand Suns. It's sort of tealish blue and gold and yellow. Those kinds of colors. But Slaanesh is one of those chaos gods that I don't really mess with that much. So if it was them, then I would have had to do some research. Because the only thing I know, I did for my last Chaos Warriors that I did for HeroQuest, the 1980 version of HeroQuest, that is. I did purple and gold for Slaanesh, but I don't even know if those are their colors or not. Because they're all about lust and excess. Excuse me. Getting all the fingies. Okay. Just checking the armor to make sure I got all the... I got all the armor spots that I wanted to get with the midtones there. Now I want to do the shield. I'm gonna need some more paint. Move my camera over a little bit. I'll zoom in just a touch here. rest of the shield here. Alrighty. There's our mid-tone. Alright, now we're going to start with the orc hide. This is kind of like a transitional color, I think, just naturally on its own. It's a much brighter, like, blue-green. So we're going to use this transitional color for our highlights. So we're just going to add a few highlights here. Whew, sorry, I zoned out for a second there. I'm very tired tonight. I didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. I was super stressed. Yeah, and insomnia just kept me awake, man. So I was stressed because my wife was sick. And today is my son's birthday, so I was really worried that she was going to be sick today. And that we would have to like end up canceling like half of his birthday plans because she was too ill to do them. And that would be very sad. So, but thankfully enough, she felt much better today. So, I didn't have to worry about it. But I did, so. But it didn't stop me from worrying, so.
pendulums swing to and fro. Many hours had he spent while a boy. And in childhood and manhood the clock seemed to know, and to share both his grief and his joy. For it struck 24 when he entered in the door, with a blooming and beautiful bride. But it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, but it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. My grandfather said that of those he could hire, not a servant so faithful he found. For it wasted no time, and had but one desire, at the close of each week to be wound. For it kept in its place, not a frown upon its face, and its hands never hung by his side. But it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, but it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. It rang an alarm in the dead of the night, an alarm that for years had been dumb, and we knew that his spirit was blooming for flight, that his hour of departure had come. Still the clock kept its time with a soft and muffled chime, as we silently stood by his side. But it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. 90 years without slumbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, his life seconds numbering, tick-tock, tick-tock, but it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died. Yes, it stopped short, never to go again, when the old man died.
I'm just responding to text messages on my watch. It's my wife informing me that we're getting a Trader Joe's where we live, which is awesome. And my dad letting me know that they got home safe. As they came by today to celebrate my son's birthday, which was very nice of them. He doesn't have to let me know that they're home safe, but it's good to know. My dad's not the best driver at night, so I appreciate it when he does tell me. You might be watching, so good to know you're home, Pop. my turn. So that's our transitional layer, and now we'll do our final highlight, which is going to be this ethereal green. We're not going to use too much of this again. Oh my god. It's so shaky. I don't know why. It's so shaky, I'm like not even touching it. Like my knee is touching a drawer at the bottom of my desk. But I don't know why it's shaking my desk so bad. My Duolingo is yelling at me. I'll probably do a little of that tonight. This will probably be a shorter stream. It's pretty quiet tonight, so I think most folks are busy. I thought about canceling, but Monday nights are usually pretty busy for me. So I wasn't going to cancel, but nobody's hanging out, so. But pretty quiet. It is a holiday, so I imagine some people are, you know, hanging out with their friends and family. I did that all day today, so definitely can't blame anyone. As I'm going through adding the screen, I'm worried that it might be a little too warm, but I don't know, it seems alright. But it's not really nurgly, that's the problem. I might have a better one that I can use. This is a little too yellow-green. What about... Is there any in this? No, I think this is it. Yeah, I think this is too yellow. This green. So we're going to go with a different color. I've got two candidates here that I'll test. So either Scarsnake Green or Warboss Green. They're kind of like the same. I think we might do Warboss Green just because it's a little less extreme. And we're going to paint over this highlight here. Yep, that's definitely the palette that I'm looking for more so. This ethereal green's way too yellow. And I don't really want to add warmth to this model. Or this mini, rather. Because it's supposed to be sickly. Yeah, that feels much better. looks alright. Due to some mixing issues, it's not exactly the color I wanted it, but I think that'll do for a serving of Nurgle. Nurgle? Can't actually be Nurgle, 'cause that this is a Dread Warrior, not a Chaos Warrior. Alrighty, so now we'll move on. We'll do the horns real quick. Our normal horn formula. And if you don't know, our normal horn formula is we're using Dust Bowl for the base level. We follow up with the other two thin coats like bone colors. So it goes Dragon Fang, Skeleton Legion, Vampire Fang. Next up is Dragon Fang. I don't know if it's either really humid in my office or really dry because the paint is taking forever to dry, but my wet palette was completely dry when I came in to start streaming. Next up is Skeleton Legion. All right. Then we finish off with the final highlight of Vampire Fang. All right, there's the horns. All done. I don't know why I'm talking like that. There you go. All done the horns. All right, now we're gonna do the cape. And I decided in my head ahead of time that I'm gonna do the cape and the rest of the cloth stuff as a dark brown. My usual brown that I use. This is Curious Leather as our shadow tones. We're not going to go nearly as wild with this as we did the Mournfang brown on our previous one. Not that we went that wild, I don't think. I think it was just a couple of highlights now that I think on it, so. Because the cloth is not the focal point of the figure, or the model, whatever you want to call it. So. I don't even know if this thing in the middle is supposed to be cloth, but it doesn't look like metal, so I can't tell. But it's kind of metal, kind of not. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm calling it hard leather or something. Because this is like to me, this is like a brown, or like a leather or cloth tabard that's underneath their armor, just above their chainmail, which is what you would wear with a suit of full plate like this. You would wear chainmail underneath. But I don't see any chain links showing, so I'm going to choose to believe that this is a tabard that they're wearing underneath their plate armor on top of their chain. And I'm going to choose to believe that it is a hard leather tabard. Alrighty. Okay, now the big thing, the cloak. I'm using my big ass brush this time, my 3, because a lot of surface area to cover here, and also the texture. Alrighty. So that's going to be the brown. It's giving very earthy vibes, which is not exactly what I'm going for, but it just kind of fit with Nurgle's vibe. I mean, he is a god of, like, rot and entropy, but I don't know. It works. We're adding on an ancient forest. We're gonna mix these two together for a transitional color. This is a pretty standard mix for me. use Curious Leather a lot, and I use Ancient Forest a lot as its highlight color. Most of the time it's for like leather pouches and things, but it works for this like brown cloth vibe that I'm going for here. Now it's still a little wet here. I'm not worrying too much if it mixes, honestly. Because, this is just the transitional color, and I mean, for the most part, you know, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Alright. Final highlight, Forest. Ancient Forest. Lauren Forest is a Games Workshop color. The only reason I'm thinking about it is I just looked at it when I was looking through my box of paints that I keep here to try to figure out which one I was going to use for my highlight, and I saw that one and I was like, maybe, and then immediately changed my mind because it's probably too deep of a green. Alrighty, that's the brown done. And now onto the metallics. I'm gonna do the ones on the chest first. So I'm gonna bust out the sexy gags. Oh yeah, you know it. You love it. Dwarven iron is the metal that we are going to use. Sorry. Looks like a brush bristle that came off. Onto my guy there. I think it's really dark in here, but I don't know why. Like, I'm struggling to get light on this thing from my... Ah, I see what it is. My phone's covering one of my lights. Sort of in an awkward position at the moment. Okay. All right. Do the shield and the mace. All right, there's the shield. So I don't know if I explained why I'm doing the iron. Well, it's because in my mind, and I don't know if this is true or not, so if you're watching this or the VOD or whatever, and you're a Warhammer, any Warhammer nerd, and you know about Nurgle, in my mind, the metal that Nurgle uses is iron, not steel or whatever, but straight up iron, because iron decays, iron rots, just like Nurgle likes. And it just feels to me that he would love nothing more than to whack somebody with a rusty mace, because not only would it like viciously injure them, there's also a good chance they're going to get tetanus or some other sort of disease or infection along the way. And Nurgle doesn't really care if the weapons decay or not, because, well, that's his thing, man. He loves it. He loves decay. Pardon my hairy arm. I'm trying to do multiple things at once, you know? Old models, thin paints, you know. But anyway, that's just my feeling. Alrighty. Alrighty. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna hit them all with a coat of the gnome oil, and this is just for to pick out the recesses. base, of course. All right. Let the initial shade dry for just a second. Have a sip of a beverage. I'm actually gonna take these off because I don't think I need them anymore. Whew! While I'm here, I might as well. I'm gonna add some Nuln Oil to this guy's base. So I was doing the basing on them off stream. Okay. Just waiting for it to dry. It's taking a long time because, I don't know, it's kind of humid, I guess, in my room. My office here. Let's check out the percentage of humidity over on my monitor. It's 42%, which is not that humid. So, but the paint in places is taking forever to dry, and then like the wash here is taking a long time to dry, but my wet palette is like, it's being weird too. I don't know what's going on. So what I'm going to do after I do the initial silver, I'm going to add a bit of brown in Agrax Earthshade. And what that's going to do is it's kind of like add sort of like a dirty sort of feeling to it, which I feel like is definitely something you want when you're Nurgle. We're probably going to add some streaks and stuff like that to the armor to just kind of like make it a little bit dirtier. And then we're going to finish off with some rust on the metal parts to really sell that grime, and then probably add a little bit more streaking to the really grimy parts. I might add some of this shade here, this Athonian Camo shade, because it's kind of like a sewery green. I don't know how to explain it. All right, so this looks like it's dry enough. We'll go ahead and hit that with Agrax Earthshade. And you guys will see what this does. Because the Nuln Oil is just for the recesses. But this, we actually want to get a little bit of that brown color on there. I don't want it to pull up too much. Just after I added that Nuln Oil, it's probably the cleanest this guy's ever gonna look. All right. Now I just need to let that dry. But you can kind of see what's going on here. The metal is starting to look a little more like less just detailed, but that little brown bits make it feel dirtier, the brown shade. And then when I go in with I'm gonna go back in with the silver, and I'm gonna sort of add a little bit of a scratchy highlight to it. It's not going to be a clean highlight. And then we're going to go through, and once the metallic is done, we'll go through and we'll add some of our streaks and our rust. It's this part right here. It takes friggin' forever to dry. I don't know why it's taking so long to dry in the mace itself. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll do a few of these streaky highlights. Going back in with the Dwarven Iron. We don't want to move up too high. don't know why it's shaking like that. Whatever. I just need to like be completely far away from my computer, from my desk, I guess. When when I shake my paints, because this tripod is, or this arm that I have on here is so sensitive apparently. It didn't used to be. Alright, so maybe the teeth are just going to kind of go in and add little bits of.
Now we are ready to head for the horn away. Hey, roll and go. Our boots and our clothes, boys, are all in the pawn to me, rollicking randy dandy oh. Heave a pull, oh heave away, away. Hey, roll and go. Our anchor's on board and our cable is stored to me, rollicking randy dandy oh. Rouse to our bullies, your parish rig bums, away, hey, roll and go. Take your hands from your pockets and don't suck your thumbs to me, rollicking randy dandy oh. Heave a pull, oh heave away, away, hey, roll and go. The anchor's on board and our cable is stored to me, rollicking randy dandy oh. Rouse to our bullies, the wind's blowing free, away, hey, roll and go. Let's get the glad rags on and drive it to sea.
You see, I'm just adding like sort of scratches to it so that it still looks like iron, but we don't want too much, like, we don't want it to be shiny. You know what I mean?
The anchor's on board and our cable is stored to me, rollicking randy dandy oh. We're outward bound for Valleypo Bay, way, hey, roll and go.
And the reason is because I want this guy to feel dirty and corrupt.
Heave a pull, oh heave away, away, hey, roll and go. The anchor's on board and our cable is stored to me, rollicking randy dandy oh.
Now I be a true-bred country chap. Me father comes from where I'm. Mother, she's got some more like I am well knows how to rear. Oh, some folks calls I bacon face and others term it in. That's true. But I can prove I ain't no fool, though I be country bred. Or I can plow or milk a cow, I can reap or sow. I'm as fresh as a daisy that grows in the field, and they calls I Buttercup Joe. They nobbies swells, they laugh and chaff to see I eat fat bacon. They wouldn't touch such country stuff, but that's where they're mistaken. On wine and grog they do their airs and lord it at their ease. But give I fat pork from the sty or a lump of bread and cheese. For I can plow or milk a cow, I can reap or sow. I'm as fresh as a daisy that grows in the field, and they calls I Buttercup Joe. Now bain't it prime in summertime when we goes out haymaking. The lassies they will all turn out and freedom will be taken. They likes to get us country chaps, of course in harmless clay. They likes to get us country chaps and roll us in the hay. For I can plow or milk a cow.
Alrighty. So we got little scratchy highlights on here and kind of like, you know, look like dirty iron. And that might be enough for some people. Some people. But not me. So we're gonna add a little bit of this. We're gonna add a little bit more of this Agrax Earthshade. And we're gonna add a little bit of streaking coming from those like, I don't know what you call them, rivets. Yeah, some little, like, you know, rivulets of brown, what we can only imagine is like liquid that's sort of like accumulated over the years. It's like old greasy armor. We're definitely going to want some in the shield here. To almost make it look like the shield is like drooling. And crying. And that's going to be a pretty subtle effect. Until we make it not as subtle. I'm adding little spots of dirt, or little spots of dark on the cape here. Just because I don't want it to look too clean. And then we're going to add some of this Athonian camo shade to really sell it. Because this is like a really disgusting green. We'll see if it shows up any. It may not show up at all. But I guarantee you the rest that we're going to be using is going to show up. Actually, I think I'm going to take a little bit of this camo shade. We're just going to apply it to the tips of the horns here. Just to make them look just a little more sickly. So they're not as bright. Alright, you can kind of see the dirt. Just me dropping stuff, no big deal. You can kind of see the dirt where it's accumulated on the shield and stuff. Because this guy's supposed to be disgusting. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's get our effects paint out. And we are using, I used this before. You guys have seen it. Where is it? It's in there. Did I put it here? No, it's in my drawer. That's right. Typhus Corrosion. This is an effect paint that kind of looks like, you guessed it, corrosion or rust. So I've got an old Citadel brush that I don't really use anymore because it's got a curved tip. And I'm gonna like just dab it on here in places. I don't want to cake this on there too much. Because it does have grit in it. A little bit too much on there. Big teeth. Alright, we'll get it on the corners of the pauldrons here. The little rivets. And definitely on the mace, especially the head of the mace. Getting the edges, because if Nurgle is going to hit you with a follower of Nurgle is going to hit you with his mace, best believe that it's going to give you tetanus and maybe a couple of STDs. You're going to be like, how the heck did I get these? Was it Slanesh or Nurgle? Take a little bit of this corrosion. We're gonna go to where like the seams of the armor are. It's gonna add a little bit. I wanted to add less than that, but that's fine. I'll get the brush, take it off, and get some of that and just spread it around a little bit. To really sell that this is a disgusting suit of armor that this guy is wearing. And that and they're not all necessarily all, but a lot of the joints are like grimy and rusted and just, you don't want to wear this. Probably smells. Alrighty. I think importantly we need to get some in the face here. Not a ton. But enough to really sell this. There we go. So that's a pretty disgusting looking Nurgle Chaos Warrior. Or Dread Warrior, rather. So now another thing that we're gonna do, this is gonna be a very subtle sort of effect. Just cause I don't want too much of this. But when rust on iron oxidizes, it gets sort of an orange tint. So I'm gonna take a little bit of orange, just a little bit. This is a dark orange. And I'm gonna dry brush just a touch on the edges of the weapon. I don't want to do too much, because if I do, it's gonna look terrible. I can fix it if I need to, but I don't really want to have to, so. Alright. So the key to good dry brushing is to make sure your brush is a little wet. Okay. So I don't think I have enough of it on my brush. Alright, so we got the mace a little rusty. We'll add just a little bit of this oxidation to the shield. Just a very small amount. And I think that's the only places where we're really going to add it. So there we go. That is our Nurgle Chaos Warrior. Or Dread Warrior, whatever you want to call it. Done! And there you have it. Bish, bash, bosh, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. So we have finished 2 of the Chaos Warriors. We have Khorne and Nurgle. And I think that they both look pretty freaking sweet right now. So I'm pretty pleased with how these turned out. Hope you guys are too. I'm enjoying painting all of these guys. So we've got 2 more left in this pose, and we've got 2 more Chaos Gods left, Tzeentch and Slaanesh, and those will be the 2 that we decide between next time. So yeah, pretty quick stream, pretty quick model painted. Not really a complaining about it. So yeah. For those who came in and hung out, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. We are streaming on Mondays and Thursdays, so stop by the stream, come say hi, hang out, work on whatever you're working on. We'll have a little we can have a little conversation or not. Tonight we didn't have very much conversation because there weren't a whole lot of talkative people in the chat. A lot of lurkers, maybe. I'm hoping that they were lurking. I wasn't constantly staring at my viewer numbers, so I don't know if people were here or not. If you were here or weren't here, thanks for coming in. I really do appreciate it. We're all going to go on a little trip here in a second, and I will play our exit song and we will sign off. I don't think we'll raid out to anyone. So looking down at the viewer now, we have 1 viewer. So our party of 1. Whoop, I'm stuck. Ugh. All right, so let's go ahead and switch to this. There we go. All right, so my hat. It's in a weird place. Alrighty. And ba-bam. All right. So, thanks so much for hanging out, guys. I really appreciate it. I have been Chuck the Blue Wizard. We are this close to being done with all of the HeroQuest core set. And, yeah. Making good progress. We'll be done soon. Once we're done, we'll have a crazy long video about the process. Because we're on stream 39. Next stream is number 40 of painting HeroQuest figures. So let that sink in for just a second. We've done 40 streams of just painting HeroQuest figures. So we're almost done. Almost done with the first batch. I've got a whole bunch more for the expansions that I have to do. But thanks for hanging out, guys. I will see you guys on Thursday. Peace.
I can no longer stay with you, I'll hang my harp on a weeping willow tree, and may the world go well with thee. My grave both wide and deep, put tombstones at my head and feet, and on my breast carve a turtle dove to signify I died of love. Fair
Fare thee well, for I must leave thee. Do not let the parting grieve thee. Remember that the best of friends must part, must part. Adieu, adieu, kind friends, adieu, adieu, adieu. I can no longer stay with you, stay with you. I'll hang my harp on a weeping willow tree, and may the world go well with thee.